Welcome back to another YouTube video. We're getting 3 videos this week, so this will be the last one. Today's the 9th of June. It's currently about, I think it's about half 5, quarter to 6. We're currently on the way to train pull or back and buys at King's today. We trained there on Saturday for posterior, so this is our second session there. We noticed a good few back pieces there which we can utilise, which work well in our split, so that we can kind of stay to the same session, which is good. So we're going to get a good session in there, and this is kind of like our last full day before we go back home tomorrow. But I will be filming again tomorrow when we go to Crayford. Not sure what the gym is called there. It's called like Crayford Weights and something. I'll let you know. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Should be a good session. Kind of just our usual session where we'll try and stick to the plan as much as possible. Yesterday was our rest day, so we just went into central London, managed to do about 16,000 steps. So legs are feeling a bit weak right now. Thank God we're not training legs again. But yeah, I'm going to do the same again like I did for the leg session, where I'll just film all the movements and then talk you through it afterwards on the voiceover. And yeah, we'll see you there. So another voiceover going over today's pull session, starting with pull-ups, which we start every pull session with, and then today we just fixed in a rope pullover as well. This just gets us warmed up, ready for our main compounds and main movements, just so that we get a bit of a pump in the back, and let all the carbs that we had the day before flow right into the back, and just get us warmed up, ready to start the session. And then moving into our first movement, which was this Banata pullover. To be fair, not a massive fan of this machine. Much prefer our Cybex one back at home, but it was here. It was the only one that was there, so we used it. It was alright. We still got a good working set of it, which is what you're watching now, which is our first working set of the session. Using those straps there just to, well, I don't have much mobility in shoulders, and the bar is too far back to be able to grab onto, so we just use the straps, which help us in this movement to be able to contract lats down, keep focus all on the elbows and the lats as we come down into the movement. But like I said, the Cybex one it's just much better, just feels much better towards the lats, and you can definitely get a better contraction with it. So into our dual cable row, which was supposed to be planned on, but we instead used this plate loaded pull down, which kind of it's the same movement through the lats, just on a fixed handle like we're using there. So this is I think this is Neil's top set here, working on 6 to 8 here. Throughout the whole session we just did one top set and one back off for everything, and then going into my back off set here, which I think was like a 10 to 12 rep range. Again, trying to focus solely on the lats, bring the elbows down as far as we can, getting a good contraction and a good stretch, and just making the back work solely on this, which is our second lat movement. So back is kind of fully fully pumped by now. We've got a good feel of what we need to do in this movement. Just trying to get good contraction there. Elbows driving down towards back, and getting a good squeeze and contraction. Then into what was supposed to be a single arm VR2 row. We found this little piece down in the corner, which is like a little dungeon bit in Kings, which you have to walk down, which has a lot of accessory movements, back especially. And it was supposed to be, it's a seated row there, but I found that standing, as you can see, the plane of motion is much better, and you can contract the lats much better than sitting down. So actually really enjoyed this movement. The contraction was insane, and just a nice movement for a single arm, like quite a low lat contraction here. This was a back off set of 15. We did a 6 to 8 and then a 15 to 20 on this. So I managed to squeeze out a 15 repper for a good back off set. Just found it quite hard to stabilise myself at the end, and I was getting a bit of a lower back pump just because of standing up. But no, a good, very good movement that. And then into our single arm cable pull down, which is the same back at home. We just usually set up a bench behind the seated pad there, but there wasn't much space, so we just decided to do a vertical pull down. Still getting the same contraction, just from a vertical plane. Again, this is my top set of 6 to 8, I think, or 8 to 10. Just trying to bring the elbow down as far as I could towards the pocket, and trying to keep it in line with the cable. Not trying to pull outwards or inwards, just completely straight down and contracting the lats there. And then we found some good lighting in that dungeon corridor bit where we did the single arm lat row. So decided to do a bit of posing, take advantage of the good lighting that was there, see what we were looking like in the morning, which I kind of like to do, near enough every day, just see what I'm looking like in terms of the food that I had the day before. At the moment, food is fairly high. This week I've had 3 off-plan meals, 3 extra meals if you want to call it that. So 7 meals a day at the moment, and weight is holding nicely. I haven't had any major spikes in weight, which is a bit crazy to be fair, because we are having more food this week. I think something to do with steps and the added cardio in. It's just, my body's just burning through the calories, which is good. At the moment I'm doing 30 minutes on the bike after every training session. Only low intensity, but that's all we need to do in terms of keeping body fat fairly low. I think I'm sitting probably around 12 to 15% body fat here. So cardio is definitely paying off in terms of helping us digest the food and helping us burn through those extra calories that we're taking in. And just trying to hold body weight at the moment. I think this morning I was 125.7 kilo this morning. I am happy with the condition that I'm in at the moment. I think we're in a good place to start this next phase. Body fat has come down a bit, that I've seen, especially around the midsection. I'm starting to lose that lower fat that you hold on your lower abdominals. There's obviously some still there, as you can see, but it's much lower than it was. And just the overall condition, I'm seeing a few more lines coming in, a few different veins coming in different places, which is obviously nice to see. And we haven't even touched food yet, so it's only really the adaptation of steps and cardio that the body's taking on, and it seems to be enjoying it, so everything seems to be taking over nicely. Into our low row, which again is supposed to be a cable row, but the setup that they had there didn't suit us in terms of trying to get a bench across and setting everything up. They didn't have a narrow cable stack like a Bravo. They only had like 3 of those, as you can see past Neil's head, those long cables. So we decided to use this low row instead, which was a very, very good choice. This is the prime piece of kit, as you can tell by the 3 different ways you can have plates on. This is probably my favourite movement of today's session, just because of the contraction which you can see in my set. Really being able to contract the upper back in lats and get a good stretch on the way down, and just felt right, just felt very good. And considering it was a chest supported row, I didn't seem to get fatigued in the lungs. Most chest supported stuff I fatigue near enough straight away, because you know the chest is always being restricted by the pad, and it's obviously quite hard to breathe sometimes. So that was all good, very good set. And then into our last back movement, which was just a rear delt fly on the pec deck. I'm using my jumper in front of me just to create like a pad, so that I can keep my chest away and be able to bring my arms fully together at the stretch, as the pad was in the way. So as a seated pad was in the way. But no, last back movement for us. And then into our only bicep movement for today's pull session, just a high cable curl, keeping the elbow high and making sure we're getting a good contraction again, really good squeeze, good stretch, but keeping tension solely on the bicep, so we're not going full extension because the tension just falls off at the end. So this was our last movement for today's session, and we always like to, well, we're programmed in for a bicep movement. So, and we got a bicep movement in our push session tomorrow, so I think 2 maybe, or 1. But no, a good finisher to today's pull session at King's Gym. So that's pull done down at King's. A hot one this morning, probably one of the hottest gyms I've trained in, considering we started at like 6 in the morning. I think it's just very humid and clammy down here, which isn't nice. Looking forward to getting back to the fresh air on the world. But no, good session. Probably favourite movement today was the extreme row, the low pulley one, which was really good. I haven't used that one before, so it was good to get a try on that. I moved some good weight on it. Very good contraction of the upper back and lats, depending on where your hands go on the handles. But no, good session overall. As you probably saw, a lot of accessory movements that we did. Not much compound work. That's just because we're trying to reduce fatigue at the moment, and that pull session is just reducing fatigue and helping us recover. And our posterior session is where we do RDLs and stuff, which is on Saturday. So we'll be back home at Elite for that session, and then yeah, as I said, we'll be training at Crayford tomorrow for our last session before we head home. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there because I'm starving. It's like 9 AM now, so first meal goes in now, get home, second meal, and then the rest of the day. I think we've got a refeed meal today, our last one for the week, because I was scheduled three refeed meals this week. So 7 meals going in today, and then back down to normal food for tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday is the same. So but yeah, hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, another voiceover, just taking you through the sessions. Tomorrow I'll film the same. That'll be pushed too, so stay tuned for that going up Monday. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one Monday.